Hi everyone, welcome to Amaranth. These are general messages for the collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter placements. Let's get into it. So the first card you have, Leo, is Sappho. And it further says the poetess. It further says, I love every inch of myself and I love the people in my life fiercely. Right, and if you see in the picture, she has a instrument, looks like a harp. She's playing the harp in the picture, even though imagery is a little bit diluted, but it looks like a harp to me. So some of you could actually be into creative arts and performances. And if you look at the picture, this is a modern day person, a woman, who is expressing her talent, her gift, her craft, boldly and confidently. So some of you might actually be either vocal or writing poetry or even singing in some kind of performance arts, or this is just being the vibrant you know, where you're able to speak your heart out, you're able to express yourself, you're able to create. And you are, you know, the confident, magnificent Leo that you are, and being, you know, honest with the people that are around you, celebrating them, celebrating yourself and the presence of everybody in your life. And yes, it's not shallow praise, but a deep meaning or a heartfelt conversation, a heartfelt expression that, you know, people in your life mean something to you. Some of you could be actually just starting off, you know, vlogs or vlogs where you're, you know, where you are celebrating, you know, all the creative and vibrant and beautiful things around you, whether it's nature, whether it's poetry, or whether it's art and crafts, or the beauty in the, you know, museums, whatever that is, because you know, Sappho is known as the 10th muse. And she, I mean, there is also a, you know, there is like a poetic meter. It's called the Sapphic meter, named after her energy. It's called the Sapphic meter. And that's actually studied in literature and arts. I think it's a tone, or it's the expression or some kind of a tone that is actually studied in for rhythms, and when you're you know, singing, and for lyrics and all of that. There is a parameter or a marker which is called as Sapphic meter, which is named after her. So expressing yourself through arts and crafts and poetry and singing and writing, writing articles, blogs, or creating some videos or some dance forms or some paintings in the museum, or you know, just enjoying the I would say the joy, you know, because sun is, you're ruled by the sun. Sun is all about radiance, the warmth. And that's how you extend that to the people around you, just to feel, make them feel welcomed and a part of you and a part of your community. And the same, like you express how grateful you are to be part of a community. So you could be participating in community events, or this is also like, you could be learning up some arts, maybe digital arts, maybe performance arts, maybe writing arts, and expressing yourself. This is also like about writing down, you know. You know, we have those diaries where we can express who we are. Yeah, these are our hobbies. This is what I like about myself. This is what I do every day. And, you know, those kind of books where we express, where we write everything who we are from the core. You could be into that kind of journaling as well. This can also be writing, you know, maybe acts of comedy where you're expressing the truth. You're expressing things that people actually relate to. You know, I mean, something that you're doing is going to give you a boost of confidence. It's going to be a very changing, heartfelt, transformative experience for you, Leos. This is also could be, the Leo also is like the lions, right? It's the strength. It's our inner strength. It's the honor. It's being unapologetically, the bright, radiant person that people get inspired by. The next card you have, Leo, is Gevura, and it says left-hand judgment. Okay, so this is a little bit of a tricky energy out here. Leos, for you, there is like orange fire, or is that not really fire? It's the clouds, right? With a little bit of that red shades. Could be the setting sun sky where it's orange in between and a violet otherwise. So, but it's a little bit of because it looks like fire out here. I would say there is a little bit of a force, right? Because fire is normally known as a symbol of transformation. So there is some kind of, and it says your left-hand judgment, which means that you will need to be more discerning at this point in time, right? Your judgment needs to be more refined. So you will need to separate what is, an assumption or what you thought it was, or, what it appeared to you. Sometimes what we see is also not the truth, an illusion. So what exactly is the truth? Or what was the illusion? What was the assumption that you had? So to cut those assumptions, to cut those illusions, and to get to the truth and the core of things. And it takes a lot of strength to do that, to have the clarity, to be very precise with your judgments, with your decisions, to know what to cut, to know what is a truth, to know what is an illusion, what is not true. This is also about not being judgmental, but of having the discipline. Discipline, in the sense, discipline with your outer world in terms of how you do things, the persistence and consistency, especially if you're working with projects. But the inner discipline is about curing the mental fog, not doing things that you are aware that you have been doing repeatedly and it's not healthy for you, whether it's in some habits or eating patterns or any other behavioral patterns. This is the actual thing behind Gevura, is not being overloaded by things. So be able to prioritize things, like what is important. Sometimes we have like thousands of commitments and obligations. So just knowing that, you don't have to be there at all places. It's not really being cruel to you, is it? It's just that you are saving your time and energy on things that really matter to you. For some of you, if it's related to Korea, this looks like, getting rid of team members that, are not transparent or are not aligned with the vision. Like, for example, if you're the chairman, you kind of let go of some people on the board meetings because, their vision, or they're not honest, or, they're not focused on the growth of the company. They're more about their own goals and how much money to make and things like that. So to understand who is coming from a place of goodness, of progress, of harmony and things like that. So Gibora is, of course, it's judgment, but at the same time, there's Saturnian influence, which means limitation. And both of them are important in our lives. We have to limit the energy where we spend it. We have only 24 hours in a day. We go to sleep for 8 or 9, so we are left with 14 hours in a day or 15 hours in a day. And what do we do with that time? We have to be very careful where we invest our time and energy into, or resources even. So it's like a pruning. When we prune the leaves, it no longer looks like a jungle, right? Especially if you have vines and everything growing around. If you prune it, periodically, it makes it look beautiful rather than a jungle, right? So that similarly, when we cut off things or habits or patterns or schedules that are not really helpful for us, they're not serving us, they're not, really adding value to us, then we need to let that go, let that schedule go. Only prioritize things that matter to us, that enable us to grow or to do whatever. So I do feel that, yeah, there's a lot of understanding what's matter, and even the companies, like, for example, the national policy makers, they will, a lot of companies, even a lot of institutions, banks, and, all of those, they keep changing and or reforming their policies, in order to avoid any corruptions. Like, when things happen and they realize when the whistle is blown and the veil is lifted and we find out about a corruption that happened, then policies change in that company in order to not allow that to happen ever again. So these change of policies in order to make sure that we're heading towards transparency and everything cannot be taken care of once. That's why reforms are done, because after every breach or incident, the reforms are made so that those similar things don't happen again in the future. That's the kind of energy that plays out in companies with this Gebula, and even like this is not doing it because, out of like egotistical or controlling motives, but it's because of the higher and greater good of people around you. So just like I would say, it's like using your inner strength to rise, to escalate in consciousness. And then, having that clarity and then applying the clarity with kindness and compassion, it's being wise, being discerning about what you do with every action. Like, maybe it's like you're creating something really good, maybe a music piece or maybe a song. So you have to protect that art and craft, and you have to know who to give that information to. Maybe you want some funding, or maybe you want a production house to release your album. Now, whom are you going to go showcase that album to? That kind of a wise discernment. So, yeah, very discerning energy. The next card you have, Leo, is number 20. It says, keep your temper. Don't allow anger to rule you. Yeah, Leos, Sun is your ruler, and of course it's all heat. You are the fixed fire sign. Number 22, number 20 or the number 2 are coming through important with this energy. So here is some kind of, look at her eyes, they're so red, angry about something, frustrated about something, impatient about something. So this energy is asking you to breathe before you react, before you say anything. The cat is laughing here, The girl is a little angry, but the kitten is all smiling from ear to ear. So I feel that, Leos, right now you need to just take a pause. You might be triggered with something, might be angry about something, but then whatever anger you have, whatever it is, you need to be very intentional about, how you release that anger, right? Don't be impulsive. Don't be intimidating. You need to channel that energy to, change any kind of frustration into something which is either more poised, more, it's said that being heard is always more powerful than being loud, right? So, and even psychology, if you've read any, it says that if you're able to regulate your temper and your emotions, that's the true strength that lies within us. Especially when we do that under pressure, it's best, especially when we do that gracefully under pressure, that's our true strength. Destruction is not the true strength. So, also when you're communicating, when you're talking, make sure that everything that you say is, fact-based, that you have data supporting that, whatever you're saying. Sometimes we say reactive things which are not true, that are not really, we don't have any proof of that. We don't have any data supporting that, especially when it comes to working things out in the company or saying things to people or maybe community work also. If you are angry about something, make sure you have data to support that anger and say it in a very cool, calm way. You take that break or pause, breathe up to 10, or, walk around, walk, or do something. But this energy is asking you to not be reactive. And even if you're angry, try to get to the bottom of it. Like, what's making you angry? And if you can channel that energy into something more productive, it's just like it. I'm sure everybody has seen the Inside Out movie. And I clearly remember Joy and Riley out there, how they learned that emotional balance. That's amazing. That movie is like a clear energy of a manifestation of this energy. So then we can stay cool-headed throughout the storm, through the anger. You try to use humor so that you can diffuse any difficult situations, and that actually helps to, especially in companies, if you're able to diffuse any kind of tension between people and teams with humor, it just allows you to work back together as a team. So step away from situations that are confusing or angering you, cool yourself down, and then you can bring back that conversation again. It'll save you a lot of headache. It'll save the company and other people a lot of headache and tensions. And then the time that you will spend to resolve those tensions. So there is no need to react right now. Master your emotions so that you can first listen peacefully, and then you can, convey your meaning. So do it with calmness, not with any kind of brute or force. A lot of national leaders, they actually practice this kind of an anger management where they're able to communicate without, raising their voice or without backlashing on camera and things like that. So be well aware of the problems and that are causing you to be temperamental, because, Leo, you are a fifth house energy of creativity, of leadership, not intimidation. You don't have to be the lion, right? That is a mad lion. You don't have to roar. You have to be the poised and graceful lion. Lead with your heart, lead with your intentions, lead with your actions. Don't clash, especially when it's chaotic and high pressure environments. And the last card put it earlier, you have the number 11, Justice. So this is major arcana. So yeah. So themes of fairness and justice is definitely playing out for you here, Leo. And I do feel that, this is the energy of goddess Ma'at. And the goddess Ma'at stands for, balancing the cosmic scales, being fair and square with things, speaking the truth. This is like, this is the Libra energy where we're shooting for fairness, for transparency, for anti-corruptive means, for, even leaders, they come out and they speak the truth, whether it's corporations or national level, so that, the balance is restored, so that truth is spoken, things can realign. So same here for you, Leos. You need to, come from a heart space, not from a egotistical space, right? Because yes, there is lion, there is leadership, there is power, but when power, then there is absence of fairness, then it becomes pride. But when we couple the power and it's coupled with fairness and truth and balance, then it's the true leadership. And it's the same here. So I do feel that this is like something maybe was not balanced, and now it's time for it to be balanced. Sometimes it takes time for truth to emerge, for us to get the real justice. I've read so many cases online in the papers where, people were wrongly accused of doing things, and then they had to fight for their right. But they still did not give up. They were not mad. They didn't retort to violence. They were just They were just standing in the truth and presenting facts, and then finally they got their justice. So there's a lot of fairness, equality, truths. You might be fighting for the rights of people that are suffering injustice. You might be learning about, justice. You might be in the law enforcement. This also could be, trying to balance some kind of skills, maybe, related to your ancestors or family history. Who knows where this justice is playing out for you. It could be at work, it could be in your personal life. This could also be in your external environment that you create, trying to create laws that bring justice to people, and this could also be environmental justice, where we're dumping waste and creating landfills. And now, we have to be fair and just with the Mother Earth. And you might be creating reforms around that. But at every step, we need to ask, like, before saying things, before doing things, making major decisions, like, are we being fair and square, with ourselves and people around us? Because especially in the companies, especially when we, this could also be like, you put in the work and you're not recognized and you feel like it's unfair. We feel that life's unfair at so many given occasions, but then we have to analyze, like, really, is that true unfairness? Sometimes you put in the work in companies, we don't get recognized for it. So it's okay. I mean, we didn't do it all by ourselves. Everybody contributed to our success. So once you realize that, it's not just about us, it's about, being fair and square in our expectations, in our actions, and what we say and what we do. Whether it's with people around us or whether it's, at our work or our business, how much do we charge people for our services also has to be fair. Do we offer the service that we charge for? So, in justice here, there is a sword out there. A sword always stands for getting to the truth, getting to the bottom of things, getting through assumptions and illusions and seeing things for what they truly are, and also doing the right things. You might be in law enforcement or community protection, or just creating rules and laws. Maybe in corporations, creating rules and laws are modifying so that there is transparency, so that there is clarity of people, and even in finances, clarity to shareholders and things like that. And these being general messages, it's going to play out differently in each one of your lives. Let me know how the energies are playing out for you guys, and hope you enjoyed your messages, Leos. So thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.